Yeah, glad to get out there, compete aggressively, and finish strong and come home with the win. Yeah.
Jonathan Tannehill in Philadelphia Inquirer. I'm sure there's plenty of strategy in all these things, but you're sitting there in second, waiting. What takes a little bit through the strategy of knowing when to go?
Yeah, before the race or before, my coach told me to run like I've been running indoors, which was kind of like sitting off a little bit and then closing hard. And honestly, I probably would have waited a bit before kicking again, but Sage heard it came up. I didn't want her to get a jump with me, so I started a little early.
Just talk about what it means to just be back at Penn with the atmosphere and the crowd, everybody cheering you on.
Yeah, it's always super special racing here. I always hope that they have an event and I don't have to go up to the 15th. No, I don't mind it. But it's always great racing here. Seeing people that have watched me grow up, from officials to high school coaches and friends. This weekend was super cool. My best friend is launching her own business called Coach, so I was able to go out there, go to her booth, meet athletes, and kind of see her in the next phase of her career. So it's been a fun family race.
Yeah. Does an experience like that kind of ease your nerves as you come into, crowd and, fans and all that? Does doing some off things kind of ease your nerves a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I was talking to one of my friends last night. She's like, "You're kind of weird," where I just, until I'm ready to race, like I kind of don't want to hyper fixate on it. In the days, weeks leading up to it, I'll think about it, go through my race plan, visualize a little bit, but a few days before, I kind of just want to be as calm as possible before it's time to.
Ajee, Jerry Green from the Ajee Park Press. Greetings.
Hey.
So the 600, what is this race like for you? What does it do for you in the big picture of your training?
Yeah, it's always nice to get a race in. I definitely want to focus on getting just overall faster this year. I'm definitely a strength-based 800-meter runner, but I definitely want to get my foot speed up, and doing races like this, switching to some of the training we've been doing is going to help that.
And there's a lot of kids out there, high school kids from the Shore Conference and elsewhere, looking to you as a model. What do you want them to know? What do you want your message to be to them?
Keep pushing, keep trying. You never know where running this sport will take you. I remember being a freshman, sophomore, coming to Penn Relays, sitting in nosebleeds on Saturdays and cheering for Allison Felix and Sonia Richards, and running to the mix zone to try and get a picture with Phoebe Wright. So it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but it was. So I was just encouraged that we keep pushing.
Any kids stop you today for a picture?
Yeah, much, yeah.
To the point that you just made, and I know I brought this up last week when you were here, would you like to see some of these big races get back here? I know there's a lot of commercial politics with Nike and Puma and Adidas and USA Track and Field, and you can go all the way down the list. Would you like to see some big races get back here?
Definitely. The relays were always a highlight of high school, the Shore area. Even coming to Philly, hearing how excited people are. Do you run Penn Relays? That's always one of the questions that they ask. So getting it back to as big as it was, I think the last 2 years have definitely been a step in that direction. So I'm excited to see the relays continue to grow and, get back to the energy that we're used to.
Jay, it looked like you had something on an ankle. Is everything healthy, feeling good, ready for the season?
Everything's feeling good. I just have chicken legs, so my leg sleeve did not stay up, but that was what the sisters voted on in the group chat, so I put it on.
And then you brought up the 1500, not me. You did one earlier in the season. Any plans to do another?
We actually considered doing the 15 here. Training was going pretty well in that way. I had a little bit of a setback, so we kind of just pivoted and stuck to the 6. Yeah.
And then I guess it seems like you have a knack for timing things perfectly. You'd given Natoya like a little bit of room, but you found it in that last 100. Is that a matter of you purposefully giving her a little space, or just finding it in that last 100?
I think it's a little bit of both. I definitely wanted to stay off the pace a little bit, but more importantly, I'm just focusing on what feels comfortable, and just keeping a mental clock of making sure it's not too comfortable and too slow. And I think coming through the first lap, I kind of was easing into that territory, but having Sage come up kind of put me back in the mix and started up for that final kick, final push. Yeah.
And where do you go from here? What are you building towards? What's the race plans coming up? Just talk about the season in general and your race plans going forward.
Yeah, so we're still figuring things out compared to like the year after COVID. It was not many races, but now it's like the opposite, where there's a whole bunch of races, a whole bunch of different opportunities. So trying to just be strategic about what we do and where we want to go. So not really sure where I'm racing next, but pretty much I think 8s for the rest of the season, maybe a 15 at some point, but mostly just 8s now.
Do you feel a need to go international ahead of the U.S. champs this year, or are you happy to stay domestic?
Yeah, I pretty much usually stay as domestic as possible. I travel just to get like points for the Diamond League to make sure I'm in the final. And I think this year I'll probably go over twice, but that's typically been like what we've done the past 10 years of I'll go over, come back, but never more than like 3 times a year. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Ajee, obviously Sydney was here last year. I asked her the same thing about the talent that's come out of New Jersey. Obviously what you've done, what Sydney's done, what are things doing. Can you just talk about the strength of the state and just, seeing, runners from your state perform at such a high level on the biggest stage?
Yes, it's always super great to see Jersey represent, especially because we always just get talked about so badly. I don't know why, but everyone talks trash about Jersey, but it's the best place ever.
What do they say? What are Jersey talk?
It's like, oh, it's the armpit of America, like dirty Jersey. I'm like, that's a term of endearment. That's how we're repurposing that, but it's always awesome to be a part of that group. Olivia Baker as well.
Yep.
I think she still has the fastest high school split for 800, so I'm proud to be part of the strong Jersey track class. Yeah.
All right.
Great. All right.